Hare Krishna, thank you for joining us today, all the devotees. Today is the 8th day and lovely morning for you all. So that's nice that you all joined. We will begin with our invocation prayer. I wrote to you all that, after the shloka chanting by Grishma Mataji and Srijita Mataji, we just had a few minutes of mantra japa. This is Brahma Muhurtam. After the Brahma Muhurtam is the Brahma Vai. So this call is equally very pious. So you are listening to the Maha Mantra. We'll move on to invocation prayer. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Ajnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakya Chakcharoन्मीलितान येन तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः. श्री चैतन्य मनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्व पादान्तिकम्. हे कृष्ण करुण सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेशा गोपिका कान्ता राधा कान्ता नमोस्तुते. तप्त काञ्चन गौरंगी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये. वाञ्छकल्पतारुभ्यस्य कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः. जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधारा श्रीवासवादि गौर भक्तवृंद. हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे. हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे. Hare Krishna, all devotees, welcome. Welcome to the 8th day of our journey. And the one module is over, the second module we have gone. So let's give all our obeisance and then their regards and respects to Radha Govinda deities. How beautifully they are smiling and looking at us. You know, I hope you all enjoy looking at the deities from the feet and, Vakchasalam, the eyes, the face, the attraction. This is Mangalore ISKCON Temple, Radha Govinda. And moving on to the mental health and life skills and thinking skills, thought process, behavior. 5 to 10 minutes, every day we are doing this. So today I sent the message also. So today's speciality, what is a special menu today? So after giving all the gratitude to everybody and all of you, it has to be an altitude of gratitude. So before we move on to the mind control, let me just quickly give one message here, that every day before going to sleep, close your eyes and sit and think of all those people who have made this life, smooth, whether it is enemy or friend or whosoever has helped you to become what you are today. Just keep thanking them from your mind, from your heart. Just keep thanking and take their blessings, okay? Through the mind only. So the mind controls first step, that we show our gratitude. If they are around, do touch their feet every day. If they are not there, they are far away, you can just, wish and close your eyes and show the gratitude. They will reach, they will get that vibration. All right. So the gratitude to Mangalore ISKCON Radha Govinda Temple for giving us this opportunity. Especially, I always remember Nam Nishtadas Prabhu. I haven't met, but I haven't been to the temple also. But then I'll certainly make this one, because such devotees, such people who have made it possible, the largest, the online classes which is going on, which is all free. And you have to make sure that is the biggest devotional service. Make sure that all your friends, all your closest, those who are in the community, those whom you really, those who matter to you or do not matter to you, make sure that they all join the class. January 3rd itself, the next batch starts. All right. And so showing this gratitude from your mind, from your heart, we move on. I am sure you all must be thinking that my thought, my action, my feelings, that is becoming my behavior, my personality, and somewhere or other, that there is a congruence, there is a similarity. And there, with all my karmas, now Krishna is sitting. Krishna is the focus. He is the focus. So it is all done with Krishna consciousness. Okay, so this is what is the chariot of body. And you've seen this, like intelligence, mind, and soul, 5 senses. All these senses, you know how it needs the reins, and the reins are in your hand. Okay. Today we are living in a society where we think happiness means to enjoying our senses more and more. You're seeing. So you would have heard a lot of people telling you all, oh, this is, what? It's just one life. Enjoy. That's more important. And this is the true happiness, because the time doesn't come. So, we need to enjoy. You would have heard a lot of people. So today we are living in such a society where we think happiness means enjoying the senses more and more. Eyes, ears, nose, tongue, your mouth, so to gratify, that sense gratification is what is the true happiness, is what is being taught and peer influences. Okay. So first thing is mouth. Eat gorgeously and satisfy the demands of the tongue. Oh my God, it is so tasty. It is so good. You're seeing all fast food everywhere. They're around. So there is a chapter where it is said that, what is palatable fruit, what is that food that you offer to Krishna is what we can eat. We should eat. So we can be disease free. We have those 4 defects, like, birth, and then growing up, of course, old age, disease, and then death. But then when we realize this body has been given by Krishna, we need to really take care of this body. So how do we do it? We just gratify our senses. It is just for the tongue. It is just till here. Okay. So the third one is like, see beautiful forms and satisfy the demands of the eyes. Just the satisfaction, gratification of the senses. Hear beautiful sounds and satisfy the demands of ears. What is it? What is it now today? How all your DJ music, and we are not saying it's wrong, but then the sense gratification is what pulling all of us down. It is like, it's there over, and the mind says, like, leave it to the senses. So the reins are the, your mind, that intelligence. So that has to be, let's see what happens. So we just allow all these senses to get this gratification, satisfaction, smell varieties of aroma, and satisfy the demands of nose. So this is like a chariot, in which the horses are allowed to go wild, each desiring to pull the chariot in different directions. Okay, so in different directions it is all pulled. That is the main cause for our unconditional soul getting here. It is a conditioned soul, and getting entangled, getting all those lamentation, getting that, sadness or fear or, lust, greed, anger, desire not fulfilled, so keep on getting those, like, I never got it, I never felt, I never did it. So I am told, he is a cause, she is a cause. So all those feelings comes because we are only fulfilling the senses gratification, and the horses, like, all of them are pulling you apart. Wherever they want, they will go. So as a result, the mind is a reins, right? And intelligence is the chariot driver. They become weak because the horses are taking over. That means all your senses are taken over into such a strong way. Horses, no? So naturally, the reins, they are not in your hands. So the chariot driver, they become weak. That is weak. We become weak because we try to keep on fulfilling our senses. So therefore, Bhagavad Gita recommends us to regulate and control our senses. See, first few chapters we went on saying thinking, what you think, what you talk, what you feel, now we know the causes. Three modes are there: mode of goodness, mode of passion, mode of that is like sattva, rajas, and tamas. So mode of your madness, all those madness, that ignorance, that goodness, passion, and ignorance takes you everywhere. But I do come back to that mode of sattva, that is mode of goodness. How do I do? Bhagavad Gita recommends to how to regulate and control our senses. Okay, by regulating our senses, we gain control over our mind and intelligence. It's so important. It is a very, very difficult task, but very difficult task. My friend is calling. Okay, today we are going to have, some lot of fast food restaurants. I am going there. I'm not going to say no to him. So we will never learn to say no, even though we know that that's not going to help my stomach or my senses or my body, and this is not the time to eat. So many things you will have, but still that sense gratification that will pull you that side. So conditioned soul means one who is being controlled by the mind. So we, the conditioned soul that is there, and it is being controlled by the mind. And mind, if it is controlled by all these senses, then what happens? You know it. Okay, so mind says, why not smoke one cigarette? That's okay, no? Just one peg, it is fine. So just a little bit alcohol, it is okay. So this is what the mind says. Then we need to break, say no. How do you say no? Mind will say always for some sense gratification. But when you control the mind, then you are a liberated person. That is what Srila Prabhupada says. I control my mind. How do I do it? I have to pull this one. So there is, I always tell all my students also to see, and when you get time, you also see. So they were asking, like, do you eat vegetarian food and there is no protein, nothing. So in Netflix, there is Game Changer. There is a documentary film on all those athletes who have given interviews and what they eat. So it never came out like, it is only in the Netflix as a documentary film. It's a proven, because it gives a lot of information about pharmaceutical companies and about the medical thing and about the fast food, basically the food industry. So that gives us a very clear picture of how we fall into all these all these ads, and just to gratify our senses. So that's, out of context, I am just giving you one information that it will help you to understand that I do the pranayama and you Ashtanga yoga, or I go to the gym and then I need protein, so I keep eating. So I fall into the trap of all my peers, what they say and how I go. I don't even know what are those spices which has helped me from the childhood, my parents have given. What are those spices which has made me to become strong, to become that, that immunity I have developed. So do I know all these names? Does our food have, on Ekadashi day, you have this. On Dwadashi, on the second day, when you break the fast, so the whole system for the 11th day is totally giving the digestion system one sort of a rest and relaxation. The next day morning, that's the beauty in our, so you have amla, that is the gooseberry, Indian gooseberry. And then you have the lentils, moong ki dal, okay? Or you have khichdi, that's important. And then you have lemon rasam, if it is a South Indian dish, or otherwise lemon in some form. And then you have, there are some spinach that you need to have. not red chilies or green chilies on that day. So what does it mean? So you give all those satvika food, which we will be studying later on in Bhagavad Gita itself, what is the food that is good for you or what you offer to Krishna. So what is happening? You have already systematically keeping that interim fasting and then giving those food which is good for digestion. That is what is the next day. So, you take yogurt, you take milk, you take fruits. So what does it show? It's basically, through Bhagavad Gita, you are learning these food. I'm giving so much of importance to the food. The food makes all the difference in your mind control. The food makes all the difference in your sense gratification. Do I go? I don't go. So the mode of goodness always comes when you offer a little bit, whatever is required, not to eat so much, whatever you offer, and then you take it as prasadam. You will see that, the sense mind control really automatically. You can do pranayama. Your like half the food, half stomach only is filled and the other half is with water and air. Then what happens is good digestion. You're always active. The whole day goes on active. You become really enthusiastic. The morning when you get up, you see that I'm really now inspired, motivated. I'm ready to do all my work. That shows that your body is fit. Okay, so you will see the difference. What you eat has a lot of significance in your mind control. So yesterday we saw glories of knowledge about Krishna. Okay, so Kaschin Mam Veti Tatvatha. Then knowledge of Lord Krishna's energies, material energy, marginal potency, marginal energy, and external energies. So he's energetic, he's energy. So Prakritim Vidime Param, surrendering unto Lord Krishna. So slowly, this is totally, I said, Bhakti Yoga. We are seeing Gukhyam, Gukhyataram, Gukhyatamam. That is the confidential, more confidential, most confidential. 9th chapter is most confidential. The absolute truth, the knowledge about Krishna. So as we get into that Krishna consciousness, totally all your nerves have to speak Krishna, 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 Krishna. We have a story about Janabai. I'll explain that how everything speaks Krishna only. Demigod worship and impersonalism. Demigod worship, as I said, it is all his plans and the desire to be fulfilled immediately. Then Krishna is in the personal form. It is not impersonal. Brahman is like Brahma Jyoti, Brahman, till there you go, but then above that is Paramatma, and then above that is Bhagavan. So that is the analogy what we have seen before also. Sun, the sun's rays above, and then sun's you see that heat and light and fire, and then inside that. So outside is Brahman. Now Arjuna is going to ask about these questions. Paramatma, then Bhagavan. So from delusion to devotion. So we are all into that illusion. Now we get into Icha Dvesha Samuthena. Okay. So today we move on to Akshara Brahma Yoga. Now we all have to think about, how do I control my mind? How do I control my mind? How do I control my senses? So when I control my senses, so then what Krishna tells you, that how I control my mind, that is what we will be entering into. So in Bhakti Yoga, when you see, you saw that Karma Yoga and Karma with Krishna consciousness, that is, you are doing all Nishkama Karma Yoga. Now, when I do without any expectations, what I do, I just focus that it is all for Krishna. I'm cooking for Krishna. I'm studying for Krishna. I'm having all these effective communication because of Krishna. He's the cause. He is there. He is the smallest. He is the tiniest. He is very far away. He is closer to you. He is in any form that you desire. He is there with you. Okay. So how do I attain the supreme is what we are going to see in this Akshara Brahma Yoga, which is chapter 8. And this is all the cream. Okay. So Grishma Mataji, read the shloka. The shloka is not given here, but yeah. Arjuna Vacha, attaining the supreme is what is this? Are you able to hear me? Grishma Mataji. What happened? Arjuna vacha kim tad brahma kim adhyatmam kim karma purushottama adibhutam cha kim proktam adi deivam kim uchyate. Am I audible?
Yes, Mataji.
Oh my God, I was like wondering why there is no sound. Is it like there's something wrong? Okay, so if it is so, what happened? Can you, is she there? Grishma Mataji, will you read the shloka? Okay, because you know, when I share the screen, I cannot see. All right. Now, the first, Srijita Mataji, read the translation.
Yes, Mataji. Arjuna inquired, O my Lord, O Supreme Person, what is Brahman? What is the self? What are fruitive activities? What is this material manifestation? And what are the demigods? Please explain this to me.
Yes. So many questions. It's all on our behalf. Like Brahman, fruitive activities, self, material manifestation, Adi Bhutam, Adi Devam, Adi Yagyam is asking all this. Adi Yagyak Katham Kotra Dehesmin Madhusudana Prayana Kale Cha Katham Nyeyosi Niyatatma Bihi. Yes, ma'am.
How does this Lord of sacrifice live in the body, and in which part does he live, O Madhusudana? And how can those engaged in devotional service know you at the time of death?
Yes, he's called Madhusudana here. You will see one by one the names. Madhusudana is all clearing the doubts, but then he, you know the devil, the demon, Madhusudana, Madhu. He, killed Madhu, but here he is going to kill all those doubts and clarifying those doubts. That is why he is really addressed as Madhusudana here. So, Lord of sacrifice, where does he live? Okay, in the body. Adi Yajna, we will see the answers here. And and how can those engaged in devotional service know you at the time of death? See, when they are in the deathbed, will they remember you? So how when they are engaged in the devotional service, then at the time of death, how will they know? How will they remember? So what happens to them? Now in 29th shloka and 30th shloka in the 7th chapter itself, you have the answers for this. Okay, but still, so Jara Marano Mokshaya Mama Shritya Yatanti Ye Te Brahma Tadviduhu Kritsnam Adhyatmam Karma Chakilam. Then Sadhi Bhutati Daivam Mam Sadhi Yajna Yajnam cha ye viduho prayana kale picha mam te vidur yukta chetasah. These two shlokas for him, these questions, the answers started from 7th chapter itself. So Brahma, Adhyatmamam, then Adi Daivam, Adi Yajnam, Prayana Kale. So these are the important words which are indicated here. We will see what does it show. Who is that? Adi Daivam, Adi Bhutam. We have seen this. Now, Brahman is the spirit, that is Jivatma. Jivatma, that is indestructible living entity. That is why we say that, Jivatma to get liberated, and we say that it is eternal. What is liberation? Liberation is a final goal. That is again and again not having the birth and death. So Papa Punya equally balancing. Balancing means finish off the papas, finish off the punya karmas. That is all the sins or all those karmas which leads you to the goodness. Both has to be nullified, and then that can happen only when everything is surrendered to Krishna. So Brahman is the spirit. That is the level there. Then Adhyatma, that is controller of the body, nature of Jiva. Adhyatma, that is your controller of body is here is the soul. Karma, work. Karma is the now work, fruitive activities, actions leading to material body. All those fruitive activities. We do the yajna, we do the tapas, we do and worship the demigods to having some desire. So those fruitive activities, whatever desire we have, we want to get it fulfilled. That's why we do that. Many of us do. Okay. So Adibhuta is material manifestation. Yesterday we saw material nature, earth, water, all this is all the material nature around you in the environment is all Adi Bhuta. So you don't have any control on Adi Bhuta. If there is a tornado, if there is a storm, if there is a volcano eruption, if there is a drought, so it is all material manifestation. Again, it is his desire. It is Krishna's desire. It is his external energy. It is his outer, the extended form of this. So material manifestation is Adibhuta. Adidhaiva, Adidhaiva, supreme demigod, sun, moon, everything, universal form which includes all demigods. This includes Indra, sun, moon, the stars, everything comes under that. Okay, Adidhaiva. Adi Yajna is the enjoyer of sacrifice. Who enjoys? There is only one person who enjoys. It's Paramatma. If we think that we are enjoying everything, no. He is a knower, he is the enjoyer, he is everything. So whatever you do, okay, for his happiness and in his consciousness, he is the enjoyer. Then where does Adi Yajna reside? Adi Yajna resides in everybody's, all the living entities. So in the heart of all, Adi Yajna lives there. But who is the enjoyer? Adi Yajna is like Paramatma. How to remember Krishna at the time of death? It's only practice. You keep practicing, only then that day you can remember. Not that, abhyasa. Without abhyasam, it is not possible. At the end, you would have heard people reciting Vishnu Sahasranama, or people reciting, those who are very sick, those who are in the hospital. You would have heard people reciting Bhagavatam, Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, and then from the temple they will take the vibhuti, the kumkam, the prasadam, and they'll make sure that every day some recitation, something or other. But these remembering, these memories also come only when they had been practicing it from the childhood, from at least whenever they realize about, this, it is Krishna who is behind everything, who is a cause. So once that is being established, that Mahavishwasam, that faith and trust one has, they will start practicing it. So in this attaining the supreme, the process is what we are looking into. Shri Bhagavanu Vacha Akcharam Brahma Paramam Swabhavo Dhyatmamuchyate Bhuta Bhavo Bhavakaro Visarga Karma Sagnitaha. Yes, Mataji.
The Supreme Lord said, the indestructible transcendental living entity is called Brahman, and his eternal nature is called the Self. Action pertaining to the development of these material bodies is called karma or fruitive activities.
A very important understanding we need to have. What is Brahman? So in, Aham Brahmasmi, so Brahman is the layer, that layer where you see the indestructible, transcendental living entity. That is Brahman. So then, and his eternal nature is self. Self is all, we are souls. Okay, so action pertaining to the development of these material bodies is called karma. Karma is like we are all doing the fruitive activities. That is the karma, the action performed by these material bodies, by all living entities. But the indestructible transcendental living entity is Brahman. Okay. And where does Brahman live? Brahman stay? That is what we are going to get into in detail. So we are trying to understand through this, that how do we attain the supreme? Okay, who is supreme is what in the 9th chapter you will see. Who is the supreme? We are trying to understand, but how do we attain? Is a devotional service. So devotional service to whom? How? What? Why? So slowly and gradually the screen has been or it has been unearthed. The, one by one, layer after layer, you are trying to getting into the depth of the understanding. Okay, so what does this image show? From the fetus, the child, that is like, born, birth, growing up, and then, one get into, you can see everything here. That is all the Varnashrama which has been created. We said also in that Brahmacharya, then you will see the Grahastha, then Vanaprastha, then Sannyasa. Here what we are seeing, how the soul is eternal, but it is like the changing of clothes. So all living entities, Supreme Soul is there. You're seeing that. For the human beings also, you're seeing old age and death, birth, growing up, and then need not have the disease, but disease and old age is also there, and then death. This is the reality, the truth. Okay, the material bodies and all those karmas and the false ego, I, me, mine. How do I control the senses? When we come out of this also. So we get into it, and that ahankara, mamakara, my, me, false ego sets in also. And that is the mode of passion and mode of ignorance takes over. And again, we come back again and again. So when you understand what is Brahman, indestructible and transcendental living entity, and how this material bodies gets entangled, we are all with these defects. These are all the defects. Okay. So this image again shows the mode of ignorance, mode of passion, mode of goodness. So these, and how they fall into the animal kingdom. They all have, all these animals also have the, you see that Krishna is residing in everything, in Anu Atma. He is a Vibhu Atma. We are all Anu Atma. So in every Atma, that is in every soul, there he is there. He is there inside as an Antaryami. The realization will come only when we start chanting, when we start meditating, when we start having that sadhu sangha, that then total devotional services to the Lord. When we do that, that realization slowly and gradually will set in. So physical nature is known to be endlessly mutable. It keeps on going. You're seeing the caterpillar, that how the universe is a cosmic form of the Supreme Lord. And I am that Lord represented as a super soul dwelling in the heart of every embodied being. So the changes keeps on going. So one thing which is permanent is change. Change always takes place. Okay. There is always a change. There is always, it keeps on moving. The time doesn't stop. That is the representation here. Antakale cha mameva smaran mukta kalevaram yaprayati samadbhavam yati nasyatra samshayah. Anyone who wants to recite this shloka, you're welcome. Okay. So if somebody wants to do unmute and let me know. So yes, Mataji.
And whoever at the time of death quits his body, remembering me alone, at once attains my nature. Of this there is no doubt.
Who is this in the image? Anyone? On the arrow bed?
Bhishma.
Bhishma.
Bhishma. Yes. Thank you, Mataji. Bhishma Pitama. Now, he was, I think I told you 3 days back also, like he was waiting for Uttarayanam. We will study that when it moves to northern hemisphere. So Archira Margam, he is the Viraja river, and then, but it doesn't matter, because he is looking at Krishna from Manasa Vacha. He's doing that Archana, Aradhana, that is, he's doing all those devotional services through his mind. And he says in Srimad Bhagavatam, there is a quote like, he was okay with this, these arrow piercing, because he has had the food in Duryodhana's house. That is, he said, these things after the blood has to come up. Now, through this, Pandavas were also asking all the Upadeshams. He was listening. So at the time of death, when he was quitting the body, he was only remembering. From the beginning, only remembering Krishna. He was the one who knew that he is Lord. Okay, so he knew that it is only Dharma which is going to win. He knew that he is with the Pandavas and Pandavas will win. So he's a great a devotee also. So he was only remembering. And Krishna was accepting all his devotions. And that is how he used to meditate. So it's a transcendental link, that link was always there. So this is again in from Mahabharata. Anya ahani bhutani gacchantida yamalayam sheshasthavaram icchanti kim ascharyam ataparam. What hundreds and thousands of living entities meet death at every moment, but a foolish living being nonetheless thinks himself deathless and does not prepare for death. This is the most wonderful thing in this world. That is Yaksha Pragyan, like Dharmaraj is asking, when he's asking the eldest one, that is Yudhishthira, he's asking, one by one they go and fetch water. So the questions are asked and they don't answer, and they all have fainted and almost dead. So when the Yudhishthira comes, then he says, okay, now you answer my question. So in one of the questions, there are 150, 156, but all of them are there in Mahabharata. So when he says that what is the Ashcharyam, that is what is surprising thing. So he says, every second, one person, somebody died, but then that is the death is permanent. Nobody, the foolish people, foolish living being, nonetheless thinks himself deathless. They think that they are immortal. So that is not accepted. And that is the surprising thing, is what the answer is being told. So anyone would like to chant? Yam yam vapi smaran bhavam tyajatyante kalevaram tam tamay veti kaunteya sada tadbhava bhaktihi bhavitaha. Yes.
Whatever state of being one remembers when he quits his body, that state he will attain without fail.
So Srijita Mataji explained that Jadabharata story. You remember, he was remembering, he was searching, he went in search of, Bharata went in search of the deer, the younger deer. And there, thinking of the deer, he died. So in the next Janma, he became the deer. Although he had all those, till Bhava Bhakti he had gone. Only Prema Bhakti was left. That stage is passed already. But why before his death, he was only remembering. So whatever we remember at the time of death, we will be born in that form. The story has been already told to you. So how that focus totally changed, and he was trying to save the deer, Jadabharata story, and that's how Bharat, our nation's name is also Bharat. The story was told. I hope you all remember. So while leaving the body, he was remembering only the deer. That's the reason he took birth again as a deer. Okay, so the 9 stages of Bhakti Yoga, we keep reminding ourselves, because this is one of the way to attain the Supreme. So Shraddha, that is a faith, Sadhu Sangha, association with devotees, Bhajana Kriya, performance of devotional service, Anartha Nivritti, decreasing of unwanted attachments, keeping on watching this and that. So how do we control our mind? All those sense gratification, we have to come out of it. So Anartha Nivritti. Nishtha is steadiness, Ruchi is taste, and taste has to be, towards Krishna only. Then Asakti, attachment towards Krishna again. Bhava is love, Prema is pure love for Krishna. These are all the stages. What we heard, like, Shravana Kirtanam and all, that is the process. That is the process. And this is the stage. So these two this is the process. Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu Smaranam Padasevanam Archanam Vandanam Dasyam Sakyam Atma Nivedanam. Hearing, chanting, remembering, serving the Lord's lotus feet, deity worship, praying, executing orders, serving as a friend, complete surrender. I'm sure all of you are into this process, because you're at 6 a.m. when you're here. That itself shows that this process has already begun, and where you are, each one of you has to assess yourself. Okay. So Tasmat sarveshu kaleshu mamanusmaras yudhyacha madhya arpita mano buddhir mama vaishyasya samshayaha. No doubt. Who is this in the image? Who is this?
Prahlad Maharaj.
Prahlad Maharaj. Yes. Read the translation, Mataji.
Therefore, Arjuna, you should always think of me in the form of Krishna and at the same time carry out your prescribed duty of fighting. With your activities dedicated to me and your mind and intelligence fixed on me, you will attain me without doubt.
Imagine Prahlad Maharaj was sent to the Gurukula to learn about, where he went, Shukracharya's sons, they started teaching. Okay, now they had their own syllabus. Their syllabus was Hiranyakashipu Namaha. And their syllabus was that Hiranyakashipu is everything and others needs to be killed. Prahlad Maharaj, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, Sriman Narayana Sharanam. Sriman Narayana is the ultimate. Narayana is in it. So he prescribed his own syllabus and he made the whole Gurukula Sikshyas in a different form. What does it mean? So the prescribed here, such a devotion, so much of devotion, in spite of father giving him, tormenting him, lament, so much of torture he did, but still Prahlad Maharaj was ready. Now, Nrsimha, to kill the Hiranyakashipu, how he came and he was ready. Narasingha. So he knew, wherever I have to be in all Anu Atmas, because we don't know when Prahlad Maharaj requires me, because Prahlad Maharaj went on telling his father that Narayana resides in everything. Where is Narayana? Who is Narayana? Who is teaching you this? So he said, no, he's there. He's even in your tongue. Even when you speak, he's there. So how bold, what a faith, what the trust. And he knew he's there. It's okay. So when he was pushed from the mountain, when he made the Holika sit, so you all know the story, I'm sure. But the faith, the trust, the Mahavishwasam. So you should always think of me in the form of Krishna and at the same time carry your prescribed duty of fighting. With your activities dedicated to me and your mind and intelligence fixed on me, you will attain me without doubt. Without doubt, you will attain. But finally, the beauty is Prahlad Maharaja wanted the moksha, the Goloka for his father also. He says, you forgive him. Everybody was so scared. All the demigods were there listening and seeing. And it is also, the Sanskrit meaning in Narasimha is like, giving that pain. That pain is it surgical pain? Is it that the nails were the instruments here, the weapon? So the weapon was for destruction or the weapon was for the cure. So both it helped, because Hiranyakashipu, Jaya Vijaya story, you all know that because of ahankara, because of that false ego, they came down and then had the death from the Vishnu's hand. That is, Krishna only had to kill them also. Kill them in the sense, kill this body, but they went to Goloka. But Prahlad Maharaj was requesting. So that sort of a faith that no one else can come in between me and Narayana. That is what Prahlad had. He made everybody change. So that is important for us to do the abhyasam. Okay. So abhyasa yoga yuktena chetasananyagamina paramam purusham divyam yati partanu chintayan. Yes.
He who meditates on the Supreme Personality of Godhead, his mind constantly engaged in remembering me, undeviated from the path, he, O Partha, Arjuna, is sure to reach me.
So how do we attain him? That is what all these examples are, because of that. So, constantly engaged in remembering. I don't know how much we all will remember, but some form or other, when you have the deities kept everywhere, and then you're watching and you're seeing, and now you keep looking at. So if you cannot imagine the deity in the vacuum, make sure that he is there in the form of a picture, then keep looking at him, keep talking to him. These are all, strategy for mind control also. And tell him the story, write to him. You will see that, you are always engaged in remembering. And when you keep listening to the music, listening to the chanting, you yourself chanting, everything will help in remembering. So you will be in the trance, in the sense like you will sing, you are into the bliss, you are in the Anand, you are into a different world. You are doing something, talking something, interacting with this because you have a material body, you need to do some duties, but you are remembering always Krishna. That will happen once you start abhyasa, experience. Keep on doing, practicing. Okay. Now, this is Ajamala's story. He was a great saint. He was very good. And, the sensual pleasure. He was doing yajna. He had a beautiful wife. He had his parents with him, and he was newly married, young person. He was doing all his austerities, all his like everyday yajna, tapasa, whatever they need to do, So whatever prescribed to the Brahmins, he was doing all that. Then he came to the jungle, to forest, to fetch some wood for the yajna. Then he saw this prostitute with one of the her client, and he fell for her, and he said, okay, you come along with me, you stay with me, you can become my our maid servant or somebody, but be with me. So he was so much into that, he needed that sensual pleasure. He brought her home. Then slowly and gradually his parents left him, his wife left him, and he stayed with her. Then he had 10 sons from the prostitute. She just needed money, and then when he was ready to marry her and keep, then what he did was, because of that, he had the 10th son he named him as Narayana. Okay, so he was almost, that old age, but then he was very favorite son was Narayana. He went on calling Narayana, Narayana. He was there, and he could see, because he has done all those austerities, somewhere or other he was a devotee. Then, that thing comes, he could see Vishnudutta coming, and the Yamaduta also on the sides, both of them coming. And then Yamaduta said, he has committed so many mistakes. He has committed so many sins. We are taking him to Narakaloka. But then Vishnuduta said, but he chanted Narayana, so you cannot. So this conversation he is able to see and he is able to hear. So what he does, he feels, then he leaves everything. He again goes and lives for many, many years in Vrindavan and Rishikesh. He gets back what he was used to do. And then he understands, he realizes, by just chanting Narayana name itself, Vishnuduta are protecting. So then he gets to Vaikunta, Goloka. Okay. This is what Krishna comes and takes him to Goloka. That doesn't mean that, you keep doing the sins and then you will, as a prayashchitta karma, you are done and you are taken. But the birds had all of them. But because of this falling down to fulfill the senses, the pleasure, sensual gratification, that he fell down. Okay. So that is the Ajamila story. It is there in Srimad Bhagavatam. You can read also. Kavim Purana Manushasitaram Anoraniyam San Manusmaredhya Sarvasya Dhataram Achitintya Rupam Aditya Varnam Tamasapparastat.
One should meditate upon the Supreme Person as the one who knows everything, as He who is the oldest, who is the controller, who is smaller than the smallest, who is the maintainer of everything, who is beyond all material conception, who is inconceivable, and who is always a person. He is luminous like the sun, and being transcendental is beyond this material nature.
We have to take this message very, very important, is that he is a person. He is a person. It is not impersonal form. He is not just the energy. His energy is energetic. He is a controller. He is smaller than the smallest. Ishava Upanishad it has all these mantras which will, which you will understand clearly. He is the smallest, the tiniest, and he's the largest, he's the biggest. You will see it in 11th chapter, all his Virat Rupam. Then he is inconceivable. You cannot, you cannot perceive him in such a way. And he's luminous, is totally like a sun, he doesn't require an electricity or the daylight. And then he himself is the brightest. Then being transcendental is beyond is this material nature. But you ask him the way you desire him, he is there ready for you. The way you want him to be worshipped, the way you desire in your heart, he is there in that form to you, with you. Okay. So everybody meditates on him. That's what they're saying. All the demigods, Brahma, Shiva, they're all like, anything and everything, everyone, they meditate upon him. So, okay. This now you go to the 15th shloka, which clearly says, Mam upeti punarjanma dukkalayam. This is dukkalayam. Okay. This is the dukkalayam. Dukkalayam shashvatam. Napnuvanti mahatmanasam siddhim paramam gataha. So, yes, Mataji.
After attaining me, the great souls who are yogis in devotion never return to this temporary world which is full of miseries because they have attained the highest perfection.
What is his message shows? What is his image shows? It's such an easy way, but then, one who climbs up and the one who just opens it and comes up. We are all in the Devi Dham, the prison. Okay. From the prison, one is trying to climb up and taking the different, this is Dukkalayam. Okay. So after attaining me, the great souls, the yogis in devotion never return to this temporary world, which is full of miseries. The highest perfection is they just can walk out with the devotional services, understanding Krishna, they can just walk out. That's what is being told. Yes, read this.
From the highest planet in the material world down to the lowest, all are places of misery, wherein repeated birth and death take place. But one who attains to my abode, O son of Kunti, never takes birth again.
Okay, so once you reach Vaikuntha, once you reach Goloka, you do the same devotional services there, and then you don't return back here. So heaven at war, earth at war, hell is just a pain. So this is what you will see. They keep falling down, falling down, falling down. And once you reach Vaikuntha, that is Krishna's abode, then one doesn't come back. So the highest planet in the material world down to the lowest, all are places of misery. Any Prithvi, Shivaloka, Bhutloka, Pitriloka, you will see all those lokas, wherever they go, still it's a pain, it's difficult. But once you reach Krishna's abode, then you never take birth again. So by human calculation, 1,000 ages, that's what 17 to 19 shloka, 1,000 ages taken together is the duration of Brahma's one day. And such also is the duration of his night. So when Brahma's day is manifest, this multitude of living entities comes into being. And at the arrival of Brahma's night, they're all annihilated. So his night means it's Pralaya, Mahapralaya. Again and again the day comes and this host of being is active. He's also for 100 years. So once his life finishes, that is Mahapralayam. Otherwise, day and night, it's like, his period and our period, there's a lot of difference. So you will see this. That's why when Brahma took away all these gopas, he didn't know who. So for 1 year, Krishna's man had to extend his energy. All his energies, he had made the gopas again. So according to our yuga, it was 1 year. And in everybody's house, it was only Krishna. But all these people were with Brahma. So Brahma did not know even Krishna's avatar. Krishna has come down to be with us. That Krishna and Indra, both of them did not know. So again and again, the day comes and this host of being is active. And again, the night falls, O Partha, and they are helplessly dissolved. They are dissolved. Okay, so there is beyond all this, there is something which is eternal, which is transcendental. Avyakto akshara ityuktasthamahu paramam gatim yap prapya na nivartante tad dhama paramam mama. Yes, Mataji.
Yet there is another nature which is eternal and is transcendental to this manifested and unmanifested matter. It is supreme and is never annihilated.
Yes, it is never annihilated. This is what everybody in quality, you know, you will see that there you reach, you are there. That's it. You do the same devotional services what you have been doing here, the same there. Okay, so this is the transcendental, which is the to this manifested and unmanifested matter. Now, this is Goloka Vrindavan. He will, what we see here, Vrindavan. See, in South India, Bhakti movement, Andal was like, wanted to be like what is happening in Vrindavan. So this is all in Prithvi, in Kali Yuga. But there in Goloka, how it is in detail, this chart will be posted in our group. Prajesh Prabhu do post it. So you will be able to see in detail. I tried here, but I don't know, Goloka Vrindavana with, yes, here you can see. So with Ashtavashu, and then, you know, you will see all the Vedas here. Everything that we see here will be there also. Okay. So, okay. Yajurveda here, see, Mathura, Vrindavan, Jagannath Puri, Dwaraka, Ayodhya, so Swadeepa, what is it? I tried to make this. Let me see. It's not moving. Yes. Can you see this Ayodhya? Okay. And Supradishta, Sarvaswanetra, Vijaya, Jaya Vijaya. Then all these directions you will see Ashtavasu, Ashtavakra, all 8 of them. Okay, I'm not able to make it a little bigger. All right. In detail, you go and see in these images in this Goloka Vrindavana, Goloka chart, which will be posted. Okay. Okay. Mahat Tattva. Okay. Brahma Jyotir. You see Brahma Jyotir? Then Maya, we are all in the Devi Dham. Okay. Now, Garbhodakshya Vishnu. So Garbhoda means itself is the meaning you are seeing. Lord Brahma. So the now Atala Patala Patala Loka. I don't know how much you are able to see in this image. Do go through this. You will find it interesting. Interesting in the sense trying to understand. These are all there in our scriptures. Okay. So 7 above, 7 down. Now how this Loka and where is Brahma? Okay. Then yeah, how we are all in Garbhodaya Vishnu and how this Garbhodayaka Vishnu is in Garbhodaka ocean. This in detail, the same, all his pastimes here is all there in Goloka also, in Vrindavan also. You will find the same. It's all his Leela Vibhuti, his pastimes. So once one reaches Goloka, will have the same atmosphere, but it is all totally illuminated, and then there is no birth or death, and there is no, it's all transcendental. Okay. So Mukunda Mala, I think yesterday also I read, and the prayers of King Kulashekara, Krishna Tvadiya Pada Pankaja Panchara. I read it also, and then I was explaining Adhyaiva me Visatu Manasa Raja Hamsa Prana Prayana Samaye Kapavata Pitta Kanta Varodhana Vidhau Smaranam Kutaste. How will I remember you? Yes, Mataji.
O Krishna, please allow my mind to immediately yield to your lotus flower-like feet. just as the flamingo enters into the labyrinth of the lotus flower stems, when at the moment of my last breath my throat becomes constricted by the action of the bodily humors, air, bile, and phlegm,
Phlegm.
how will I be able to remember you?
Your Kapavada Pittam is 3 doshas in our, according to Ayurveda, you'll see these are all that, this gives disease, anything that is imbalance. So Kapavata Pittam Smaranam Kutaste, how will I remember you? So please make sure that Padapankajam, I have to be remembering you. So allow my mind to immediately yield to your lotus flower feet. I have to keep remembering you so that at the time of this thing, you will take me. So when you surrender, Krishna promises, when you are chanting, when you are surrender, at that time, even if you don't remember him, he will raise you up. He will elevate you. Your soul will get elevated and liberated. Okay. So now what is it in Yajna, and in who is taking the sacrifice? Who is there in the Veda? Vedeshu yajneshu tapassu chaiva daneshu yat punya phalam pratishtam atyeti tat sarvamidam viditva yogi param sthanam upaiti chadhyam.
A person who accepts the path of devotional service is not bereft of the results derived from studying the Vedas, performing austere sacrifices, giving charity, or pursuing philosophical and fruitive activities. At the end, he reaches the supreme abode.
So it is so sure. How do we reach? How do we go? Akshardham, how do we get attain the supreme? Is who accepts the path of devotional service. He will, is bereft of the results derived from studying of Vedas. That means austere sacrifices, giving charity, all these things needs to be done. Okay, studying Vedas. But above all this, once you have started doing the devotional services, you will reach the supreme abode for sure. Now, I don't know the time, but then I will, okay, it is what, 8:30 here. Okay. There were 2 Brahmins, one old and one, the young one. This is the real Sakshi Gopal temple. So what happened was, they were walking to the temple, and the younger Brahmin was trying to help the older Brahmin. Not like we have immediately a plane and then we go there, or a train or bus, nothing. So they walked. Okay, they always walked to the pilgrimage, and they were walked from almost Karna south to the north. What happened was, when he went on helping, the older gentleman said, now, older priest was saying, that Brahmin said, I will give my daughter to you for, in wedding. He was very wealthy also. So the younger one said, no, I don't want, because your daughter or your family is not going to accept. But he promised, because you're helping me, you're such a nice, pious Brahmin, I want you as my son-in-law. But then you know what he says? Then you have to make some witness. Whatever you say has to, because Brahmins have to say the truth and lie. Cannot lie. That's what he said. He told. Then he says, okay, then I'm going to ask Gopal, Krishna, to be the witness. He agrees. Okay, so when he returns back, his son or his wife or his daughter never agree. How can you just give your daughter to the poor Brahmin like this? So he comes back all the way to ask Krishna to be the witness, and Krishna says, okay, I will walk, but if you turn around, you can just hear the sound of the anklets. If you turn around, then I will vanish. That is, I will go away. So the whole the village agrees, and then village understands, and then he is given, because he says, and then they could hear, and then when he turns back, he stops. So when that king of that place heard this wonderful story, he also came to see Gopala and constructed a nice temple of the Lord. Although some time later, the deity of Lord Gopala was moved from Vidyanagara to the town Cuttack in Orissa. We have this Sakshi Gopal temple in Orissa. Okay, is a witness. So 8 questions by Arjuna were answered in this. Kim Brahma, like he asked those questions. Who is Adi Deva, Adi Bhuta, Adi Yajna, right? Remembering Krishna at the time of death, we understood this. Tasmat Sarveshu Kaleshu, remembering Krishna by Yoga Mishra Bhakti. Okay, remembering Krishna by pure Bhakti, then material world versus spiritual world. Supremacy of pure bhakti in attaining Krishna. This is the gist of what we did today. So you will really know why we need to get into only the devotional services. So it is nothing else but devotional service. That is only way to attain him. And how is that possible? Only if I have the control of the mind. Why I don't get into the senses to gratify all my senses. I know I don't get into the, then what happens is we are conditioned souls, and we become so much, we get entangled into this material world, that attaining supreme abode, attaining supreme Lord becomes very difficult. So slowly and gradually, when we are seeing that our mind has to be totally in our control, and it has to have that purity, and that purity will come by different ways. Okay, so the sense gratification, or the senses to be in the mind, in the reins, in the intelligence, and in your hands. That's what we need to see. I will stop here. You can ask questions, whatever you have. We have a detailed study of each and every shloka in level 2. So I have been, giving this every day, almost every day. So when we reach the third module is from the 13th chapter. We will have all those links for you to register yourself. So detailed study of every shloka will give you much more. So this is only a glimpse. This is just an ignition for you to get motivated to get into the detailed study. Okay, and make sure that all your friends also get into this. You have to enable everyone to understand this is not a religious book. This is a, we have manual for everything, right? Anything electronics or anything you go and buy, you have a manual how to operate. Where is the life manual? Where is the manual for your living? Where is the manual that, you need to be a good son, you need to be a better person for my living? Bhagavad Gita is the manual. Bhagavad Gita is the only manual which will make you understand that what is my purpose, who am I, why am I here, and what is my goal? Am I body? Am I soul? Then how do I really walk? How do I sleep? How do I eat? What do I eat? Whom do I get attached, and whom do I leave? Everything. So that is the manual. So don't lose this manual. Make sure that everybody joins you in this understanding of your living. Okay. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Any question if you have, you're most welcome. Rupa Manjari Mataji, we missed your song bhajan. Okay, so do join us on
Sri Mataji, I'll be there tomorrow.
yeah, sure. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Prajesh Prabhu, you can take over. We'll, as usual, we'll have the Panchatantra mantra, and then any question. Are you all able to do the quizzes? And any query, any problem, if you have, please do ask Prajesh Prabhu. Okay. And we have Srijita Mataji. They are all admins here. You can all volunteer. Once you finish these 18 days, you can give your names. Those forms will be given to you. You can fill in what services you can do. Okay. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Sri Krishna Chaitanya. Rajesh Prabhu.
Yes, Mataji. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Join us tomorrow. Have a great day. Krishna day today. Thank you. Hare Krishna. I'll end the meeting here.